Hello, true duelists. My name's Craig Fee, and welcome to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Update. We start this week with one last look at the June 2023 format, with YCS Cancun in Mexico being the last event taking place before the September 2023 ban list comes into effect. Or, I suppose there's regionals this weekend on the day I'm releasing this video, but it comes into effect on Monday, and this is the last premier event, so really that's what we're going to focus on. YCS Cancun was host to some 766 players, and more people posting pictures of the scenic area that made me deeply regret that I had not bought a winning lottery ticket prior to this to be able to go enjoy that, because, man, that looked nice. Still, my envious ass aside, the event was the usual. 10 rounds of Swiss up into top 32, and following Unchained success at the last two events, the deck actually came second in representation at the tops. Top 32 was most represented by Cancun.The, one last run of the format, I suppose. Be it because people wanted one last run with the deck, or people weren't respecting it as much as they should have been because of Unchained's rampant success. Or because Ariseheart's still a great way to fuck over countless other decks. Who knows? Either way, the deck was 1/4 of all of top 32, followed by the new threat Unchained and other meta decks that we're familiar with. Branded, Manadium, Pearly, each getting 2, and Fluwanderies notably getting 3. The grab bag of one-ofs included the expected decks such as Dragon Link and Labyrinth, but also Rika, which I bring up to say, hey, remember when everyone was like, this is super secret the best deck? I kind of was part of that too. I'm not innocent, I'm just saying. I guess it doesn't apply if you're not European. And a dinosaur deck too, my god, top 32, dinos topped. What spicy text did they include to break into the meta again? Nothing. Yeah, no, nothing fantastic or notable. This was a very standard run-of-the-mill dinosaur list as I understand dinosaur, and I haven't looked at that deck in like 2 years probably. Does main decking 3 Dark Hole count as spicy? How about 3 Lithosagam? Haha, I'm not fixing that. And 5 babies to pop with Lithosagam to get, you know, the pops and summons going. Because that's it. That's what the dinosaur deck did. And they did it well, getting top 32. No small feat. Don't mistake what I'm saying. It's just still dinosaurs. The hype train ends for dinosaurs then and there, however, because by top 16, we're looking at 1 apiece for Dragon Link, Chimera, Pearly, and Rescue Ace, 2 Fluwanderies, and 4 Unchained to 6 Cancun.The, which might make you think that Cash stood a chance to take one last crown before the card was banned, and by the card I of course mean Ariseheart. Hell, top 8 was made up of 3 Cash, 3 Unchained, and 1 apiece for Rescue Ace and Flu. But top 4 whittled that down to 1 apiece for Cash, Unchained, Rescue Ace, and Flu, and finals was Rescue Ace and Flu. Yeah. Can't say I saw that coming, but a huge congratulations to both pilots beating out some very, very competent players and decks to get to that point. And of course, congrats most go to Andre Chavez Curioso, Andre Chavez Curioso for getting first place crown and the first ever YCS win for Fluwanderies. The deck got to finals more than once during Tierleman's reign, and that was the best deck, but it could never secure the win against it. Sucks to suck. But hey, they finally get their win, and it's been denied 2 years of wins, so kudos. Does this mean that the deck needs to be hit on the ban list? No, not to anyone with any amount of sense, I would imagine. Sure, you can argue Dimension Shifter is an incredibly strong card that people want gone, and I think most people will agree that Harpy's Featherstorm specifically being banned would be better overall for everyone, but beyond that, the core strategy of the deck isn't anything crazy. It's annoying, but it's fine. As to how it won, well, there's something to be said for a deck that doesn't destroy cards as its primary form of removal and exists only on normal summons, when the generally considered best deck is a card that likes to have its card destroyed, and a card, and by card I of course mean deck, that really does well with special summon monsters. That is to say, I think Flu has a pretty solid Unchained matchup. Is that a pretty simplified look at the deck's matchup with Unchained? Incredibly. I'm just saying it didn't hurt having a good matchup against it. And Flu has shown up in the last 3 YCS Top Cuts, hinting that it may be a strong budget option for this format. Just as long as you already have the prosperities and thrusts, that is, because, hey, that's Yu-Gi-Oh, isn't it? Still, it made for an eventful last run of the format, and now we can look forward to YCS Dortmund on September 30th and October 1st. How will all the North American players making videos on how to play Unchained affect that deck's success in Europe? How will Rika perform in its chosen region? And just how long will I point a gun at Rabina and call it comedy? Stay tuned and find out on the updates. We'll be covering all that and more every week, probably. That's what I do. And of course, last week was the ban list reveal, released at the same time as the update drops, because Konami has an unprecedented anti-Craig fee bias. So kudos to them for immediately torpedoing last week's update, because it was irrelevant on immediate public sick. And now a week later I can talk about it. That's punctual. Still, it was a ban list, and while I called it mid approximately 19 times in my so-called guerrilla reporting video, I did, have some time to think on it this past week, and I don't think I hate it. The format overall is pretty damn solid, most can agree. There aren't an abundance of no type decks that are just building giant Omni-Negate boards, and the deck that was number 2 at worst was just good because of the abundance of interactions in Unchained. That's not an abundance of nopes, so that's pretty tolerable to play against. The ban of Ariseheart, and only Ariseheart, Cash-Tira, keeps that deck playable while removing the worst aspect of facing it, and things like the Magnamut hit we all knew would be happening at some point. Chaos Space is a great way to bully Lightswarm players while also hitting Dragon Link, and unlimits to things like Orange Light and Gazelle means that older decks can be more playable at a more regional level, let's say. My biggest complaint actually comes from the lack of consistency in regards to ban lists. I'm talking overall. The early hits to Pearly and Super Heavy from their competitive debuts, emphasis on competitive, was unexpected, but I don't think an entirely bad thing. And I don't think I would have hated something similar here. Now, is that me saying that Unchained is way too good and it needs to be smacked on the ban list immediately? No, I don't think that deck's going to be insanely, unbeatably good now that it's at full power. Currently, I'm just saying that if they had, say, limited tour guide or something, I probably would have been more approving of that, because at least then it's Konami continuing to kind of give the top deck a light tap while still letting it do nuts. Am I devastated it didn't get hit? Again, no. Unchained is fine in all, things considered, even if it remains the best deck. But I mean, that isn't even assured, because with the lack of Ariseheart, the format's bound to change. That was a pretty damn strong fucking card. I just would prefer, again, consistency across ban lists overall. It's very strange to see them so proactive on one list and very borderline inactive on the other. Reactive, I suppose, is the way we put it, but hey, that's just me. Yeah, I'd have preferred more bullshit like Erad Gone or similar blowout cards, but letting the meta stick around as it is minus Cash-Tira with Ariseheart, I fully support. Fuck that card. So there you go, there's my opinion on the ban list. In what, 3-ish minutes? I didn't even make many jokes in this section, because I know how people are with being incapable of understanding when I'm serious or when I'm not. Because as I recently found out, if I outright say I'm only banning 5 Fluwanderese cards to pull out this stupid thing and then point a gun at it for the 9th week in a row, if I say that's the only reason I'm hitting Flu cards, that's not enough. People are still like, nope, he's bad and he can't beat Flu. Shut up, but also, not the point, but also, not even what I fucking said. Unbelievable. Intelligence abounds. Still, whatever you want to say, tell me what your thoughts are on the ban list, huh? Is banning 5 cards to abuse one deck good? No. I don't know. I messed up the script. Just moving on. In some upcoming event news, we've got 3 new events to announce. Up first will be YCS Indianapolis, taking place on the weekend of October 21st and 22nd this year, followed by YCS Richmond on the weekend of November 4th and 5th, both for North American players. And don't worry, Europeans, you exist too. YCS Bologna I hope I'm saying that right. I could have Googled it, realized I didn't. Will be taking place in Italy on the weekend of December 9th and 10th. And actually, there's a fourth event. That's right, there's the Latin American Remote Duel YCS to take place on January 27th and 28th in 2024. That's right, folks, another remote duel. I, for one, can't wait to see people dueling in their cars while it's in motion and all the different chaos that follows a damn remote duel YCS. Why remote duel? For the chaos, that's why. And that's, I think, the first event of 2024 that we know of thus far. So, strong start to the year. In some product news for us here in TCG land, this week you can look forward to the Crimson King structure deck, bringing Resonators and or the single most annoying 5Ds anime fan to your locals to play Red Dragon Archfiend Turbo. If Pack makes this one into a top tier deck, I will be astounded and eat a bag of chips, because I have to take something minor like that, because if someone's going to do it to break Resonator and Red Dragon Archfiend, it'll probably be someone like Pack. This past week, and by this past week, I mean this current week is when that releases, so by the time you're watching this, you can go pick up a playset for yourself. Hot damn. But if you instead want to know about an upcoming set, great news for you, because Konami announced the new Maze set. This time giving us Maze of Millennia in place of Maze of Memories. This would suggest that the Gate Guardian cards I bought have now been sitting on my desk for a year unused, and that is fucking terrifying if that's true. Still, looking at the pack, this set will have imports from Animation Chronicle 2023, such as the new Earthbound Immortal cards and the Pyrota in Bonfire. There's also, of course, the next level nostalgia wave, because it seems there's a new Flame Swordsman card on the front. Right up front and center, suggesting the Maze sets will contain an obligatory DM nostalgia archetype, assuming that this follows the Gate Guardian support from last year. This one, unfortunately, doesn't tease a Guardian Chimera on the pack, so I'm slightly less interested, but if you're a fan of collector's rares, I guess you can get hyped. The set's going to have 11 Ultras, 16 Supers, 57 Rares, and a single quarter-century secret rare totaling for 85 cards, and 16 of those cards will also come in the collector's rare, because it's worked so well thus far. Each pack's going to have 7 cards in it, 6 rares and 1 holo, and the set drops on January 18th, 2024. And then you can get hyped on February 18th, 2024, when the set value is plummeted and you can buy it for half off. God, please fix that. I like it for my wallet, but not for the long term of this game. In some upcoming card news, it seems the OCG took to youth posting on their Twitter to promote their new set. The OCG dropped an unprovoked tweet talking about not knowing what's happening or what's wrong with them, and people were confused on the TCG side of things because what the hell's going on? But apparently this is like Cleafort Scout's flavor text in the OCG. Here in the TCG, we got like code being executed, which was cool and not nearly as existential crisis inducing in regards to just tweeting it out unprovoked. This presumably will tie into the new Terminal World set, of which we've already seen new cards for the Ice Barrier and Infernoid archetypes. And if you want to see those cards, you can check them out on my new card reports here. Ba-boom! That's right, this was all a plug to videos I did earlier this week. But yeah, Cle seems to be getting support soon, so pick up your Cleafort Kundschafters now. In community news, Farfas Subatrhon continued this week, reaching day 14 and probably going farther. The joys of filming ahead, I don't know whether or not it's still going. If I check right now, it'll give me about 13 hours, which gives you the opportunity to work backwards and figure out when exactly it is I filmed this. I'm not telling. Still, Farfas bald now. Spoilers. That's it. That's all I have to say. The man is bald and you can watch him mauled. Do with that what you will. Did anything else happen in regards to the community? I don't know. By all means inform me, because at this point I'm considering just kind of cutting this as a guaranteed weekly and just, you know, bringing it in when it matters. Not on like the Spice Watch, because clearly I'm not wasting enough time on Twitter to be reporting on the community by and large. So thanks to LIFD as always for the sponsorship this week, supporting my channel with the true duelist approved way to show off your cards. Yeah, that's right, we got the Flame Swordsman this week because I have a cold if it isn't immediately obvious and I can't be bothered to think of anything extraordinary. They gave me a new Flame Swordsman deck and I put some Flame Swordsman cards. It's that easy, and you can put whatever cards it is you want in here, including these tokens, which have been sitting here for months, and I should probably take back to my cards, but whatever you want to put in them, you can put a Pokemon card in there if you want. You can do my falling apart. 15% off using promo code YGOStrats15. Thank you to LIFD for the support as always, and thank you for watching. So that'll wrap it up for this week's update. As always, I've been your host, Craig Fee, and make sure you subscribe to YGO Strats for next week's update to impress your smoking Italian wife, and so you too can be a true duelist. YCS Bologna